anyone holding real estate is about to lose a lot of equity fast. Prices are completely unsustainable. If you don't sell now, you could be stuck with a property that's worth 20-30% less in a year.
You're crazy. Will the housing market crash in 2025? Every year, there are new videos that warn that the housing market is about to crash. Dave Meyer of Bigger Pockets just came out with a video calling all these people crash bros. And it does seem like a doomer trend that's unlikely to leave your feed anytime soon. And now we're doing it. For over a decade, prices have kept rising despite constant predictions of a collapse. But in 2025, fears are stronger than ever. Mortgage rates are currently somewhere around 7 to 8%, and home prices are still unaffordable for millions of people. A $2.7 trillion commercial real estate crisis could shake the financial system in the next few months, and consumer debt is hitting record highs and defaults are rising. Some say this time is different, though. Others believe the market will hold steady. For landlords, this debate really matters. Will property values drop? Will rent demand shrink? Is now the time to buy, sell, or wait? Alex, what do you think? Will the housing market crash in 2025?
Well, John, first of all, I want to say I am a crash bro, and I wear that moniker with pride. And I do think the market will crash, and I think a lot of homeowners and landlords need to be ready to weather that storm. I'll go down the list of the bad signs that I'm seeing. We've got home prices are completely detached from what income levels are. The prices are up, and people are still making the same amount of money, and they just can't afford these homes. High mortgage rates, they have lowered, but not enough. They've frozen the market. Sellers have low mortgage rates, and they can't sell their homes, and buyers can't afford the homes. And if unemployment rises, we could see a supply glut that could essentially drive these prices down, and we could see something similar to 2008. That's all the similarities with the real estate bubble of 2008, but the distinction is that we also have a commercial real estate debt crisis on the horizon,
right?
And that could really spell trouble for the market.
Okay, so you're the doomsayer, you're the crash bro. I'm going to play the other side. I'm going to say there's no way. There's no way there's going to be a housing crisis in 2025. And the reasons are many. Let me break them down. This time around, we have no subprime loans. That was the big thing that led to the 2008 housing crisis, was that people were not qualified for mortgages that they were getting from banks. We're a lot better off this time around. Banks are in a healthier state. People's finances are in a healthier state. I mean, we have historically great stock market, so I don't see it happening. Most homeowners are locked in right now with low mortgage rates that they got back in 2021 or 2022, and they don't want to sell. And in fact, there was a survey done by Clever Real Estate that showed that 54% of baby boomers have no intention of selling their home. So that's going to keep the supply low and constrained while demand is still up. That is not going to equal a crash. Even if demand does slow, prices will correct, not collapse. And we've started to see a little bit of that already. You can look in a lot of our major markets. House prices have started to come down a little bit from where they were last year. So hopefully making that a little more attainable for people, but not coming down so much that the bottom falls out.
I can appreciate your optimism, John. I think the one key aspect you're missing here is you're talking about the residential sector, and I'm talking about the commercial sector.
Let's get into it.
There's a $2.7 trillion debt crisis looming. Property investors bought these mortgages at a 2-3% interest rate, but now these variable rate loans need to be refinanced at a 7% interest rate. Not to mention that a lot of these apartments, these hotels, these office buildings, the value has gone down. Mm-hmm. And so when it's time to refinance in the next couple of years, they're not going to have the money to do it, and they're probably going to default. And we've already seen that from some big conglomerates like Blackstone. And so if we see these commercial real estate loans start defaulting, we're going to see a lot of spillover also into the residential market, specifically in urban areas and cities. We're going to see regional banks who own 68% of these loans tighten lending, making it hard for landlords to purchase homes and for potential home buyers to buy homes. And it's going to choke the market and potentially glut supply and bring all the value down.
Yes, you're totally right. Commercial is not in a good place. It hasn't been really since 2020, when a bunch of companies abandoned their office buildings and went to fully remote work or hybrid, and downsize. But that's not going to affect residential housing, which is what we're here to talk about. because office buildings and single-family homes are not the same market. And banks are way stronger than they were in 2008. Even if some fail, it's not going to trigger a full-on collapse like we saw last time. People always need housing. Demand will remain strong. We actually still have a shortage of about 2.7 million housing units in this country. So commercial could collapse. There's still going to be demand for residential. And then if things get really, really bad, as you say, and banks tighten their lending practices, if lending is more difficult or more expensive, that's just going to improve the market for cash buyers or those with access to private money. Given the health of the overall economy, that actually still means a lot of buyers will be looking for a good deal. Not to mention, mortgage rates are starting to drop finally. Doesn't that mean home prices will stay high?
Not necessarily. Rates are still historically high, and buyers are paying nearly double what they would have in 2020 for a home. If affordability doesn't improve, sellers will have no choice but to lower prices and potentially blow the real estate bubble. Home values can't keep climbing if demand starts collapsing.
Yeah, but that's not how this works, right? Prices aren't just going to crash. If homeowners aren't selling because they're locked into low mortgage rates, they don't want to go anywhere else. It's the golden handcuffs that have been talked about a lot. There aren't enough homes on the market to cause a crash. If rates drop even slightly, demand will come flooding back, keeping prices stable. We started to see a glimmer of that in September of 2024 when they started to inch down. They went a little bit back up, likely due to political pressures in November. But one of the important things to look at is foreclosures. And foreclosures in 2024 were at a rate of 0.23% nationally, compared to 2.23% in 2010, which was the height of the housing crisis. We are nowhere near as dire as things were back in 2010.
I don't think that the housing shortage is going to save us this time. I think when the bottom falls out of the commercial real estate market and there's job losses in construction, real estate, and property management, unemployment's going to rise in a lot of these urban and local areas. And when regional banks tighten lending, it's going to be hard for people to want to buy a home. And there's going to be a big supply glut, and there's going to be value drops. And we're going to see the market crash just like we did in 2008.
Okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's say there is a crash. Let's say you are totally correct and I am totally wrong here. There is a huge crash in 2025. What should landlords do? Should they buy, should they sell, or should they wait?
Well, my advice would be to sell. And anyone holding real estate is about to lose a lot of equity fast. Prices are completely unsustainable. If you don't sell now, you could be stuck with a property that's worth 20, 30% less in a year. A recession is coming, and renters will struggle with the high rents, leading to higher vacancies and lower rental income. The best move is to cash out now while there's still time and buyers are willing to pay top dollar.
You're crazy. Don't do that. Don't listen to this guy. I say wait. Wait. If you're thinking about buying, don't do it now. Prices are going to come down. Better deals will be everywhere soon. You'll be just drowning in these great deals. A wave of foreclosures and distressed properties will hit the market if there's a crash, allowing you to buy for pennies on the dollar. Banks will start restricting credit, so holding cash will give you the power to take advantage of desperate sellers. If you wait 12 to 24 months and just see what happens, if there is a crash, if there's not a crash, you'll be able to buy at a massive discount instead of overpaying now because you're desperate. All right, so in conclusion, will the housing market crash in 2025? What do you say?
The housing market is absolutely going to crash in 2025. We're seeing some pretty gloomy signs on the horizon. We see investors like Warren Buffett pulling all their stock out of banks like Bank of America and purchasing safer investments like Treasury bills and T-bills. The signs are there. There's 27,000 loans out there that are outstanding that are due for refinancing in the next 2 years. And because of these diminishing property prices in urban areas and commercial real estate, there's going to be a bubble burst and it's going to spill over into residential housing. Now, on the other hand, this could be an opportunity for investors to pick up cheaper real estate, particularly in the cities that this happens. So if you're watching closely enough, you could make some serious generational wealth with this. There's a storm coming. Bring your umbrella.
All right, I totally disagree. There's no storm coming. The bottom's not going to fall out. The economy is historically healthy right now, and that's going to continue. If low inventory and strong homeowner equity hold up, we may see a slowdown and a correction in house prices, which overall would be good because a lot of people who've been sitting on the sidelines wondering how are they going to make this down payment may finally be able to afford that and get into the housing market. There may be a correction. There will not be a crash. You can keep your umbrellas in their little umbrella holders.